It is a manual retract of the war aircraft landing gear. Actually, I'm gonna go down a little bit, but on this retract or extension, just kind of watching the movement of the side brace arm there as it goes down. And there's really no motion at all other than what you're supposed to have. It doesn't, it just stays right in line. That's the purpose of the angles in the machining on this thing. And going up, I don't even have too bad of pressure on here. If I was sitting in the airplane, this would be way easier, but really, when I measure the pressure at this point, I'd be hitting around 25 pounds of pressure at this point right there. But because I'm running through this worm gear, and it really helps with the power distribution, it really helps it to come straight on up, no problems. And this arm, for the most part, doesn't really move at all. Other things about, this is a brand new gear system on here, even though it's old, it's brand new. Everything is relatively tight inside this trunnion. A little bit of oil in there. The bushing, there's a bushing, goes through the spar here. That bushing is not worn out at all, so there's no play on the worm gear here. And with my Focke-Wulf 190, there's kind of a lot of play in here. This gear actually wiggles around. Of course, after 150 landings or so, this trunnion has been wobbled out just a little bit, and that's creating play. That's why you need a bushing here, and you need to be able to replace these bushings. And actually, in a real war update, you'd probably like to have leading edge come off from somewhere right in here all the way out to this panel right there, to the center section panel there, and to where you could get it off and look down in here and do the repairs that you need, and maybe a panel at the bottom. I'm not quite sure how we would fasten it here, but we might need to get in here to take out the worm. Might need to be able to make some adjustments here. Here's where the war landing gear is timed. There's washers that are put in here to sort of shim this worm gear, or the worm, left and right to get these things timed. Now this one is perfectly timed, and the loads are not bad at all. And this part here is just, it doesn't wiggle. On our other wars, this thing kind of moves a lot, and that's clearly not right. It should, it's gonna need to move a little bit, but can't be needing to move a lot. And so that's a problem. These, like I said, are probably actual war landing gear, one piece gear. Mine is not, mine's been kind of fabricated. Another thing to do on this landing gear, I think, is important. Hopefully this can be seen on this video because I have it set up, is this trunnion, the bearing load is all right inside of there, inside that trunnion. That's a lot of load on a very narrow area. So what we could do is put a little bit heavier material that carries through this spar area and come out, maybe an inch or two. I would like to come out maybe 2 inches, maybe out into here, with a thicker material. Maybe put a couple of, weld a couple of braces kind of through here to kind of give it a little more strength, and then push a bearing through there that would be able to wear, and that would create instead of a 2 1/4 inch bearing area, we'd go out to about 4 1/2, which would considerably lower the forces on that torquing for the landings. Would it make a big difference? I don't know. I'm gonna have an engineer friend of mine, I'm gonna talk to him about that, because I think that could be a retro fabrication of these, of this attachment, short of redesigning the whole thing. And I think that would be a helpful thing there. This is all pretty heavy material going through here on the landing gear. I think we could probably get away with a little bit less and have just a good system here that would be safe and capable of having some maintenance done to it. That's been a critical problem. Maintenance is very difficult on these without opening up the wings.